1991 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. And trust me, it's not just your average penny. It could be worth way more than you think. In fact, some of these pennies are known to fetch millions of dollars on the market. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to uncover the secrets of this rare coin, its history, and its true market value. First, let's start with the basics. The 1991 Lincoln penny, like most pennies, features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. But it's what's on the back that could make this coin a goldmine. The reverse side of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a part of the penny design since 1959. But what makes the 1991 penny stand out is its lack of a mint mark. Typically, U.S. coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. However, in 1991, a number of pennies were produced in Philadelphia without any mint mark, even though this was technically against standard minting practices. So, how rare is it? Before we dive into how much these coins are worth, let's discuss why this penny could be worth so much in the first place. By 1991, the U.S. Mint had been producing coins for more than 200 years. Yet, the mint mark system was never entirely consistent. In some years, the mint marks were missing due to errors or oversight. The 1991 no mint mark penny is one of these errors. Experts believe that a batch of coins was struck in Philadelphia, but the die used to mint them was missing the P mint mark, which was used for coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint. While it may seem small, this mistake makes the coin exceptionally rare. In fact, in the world of coin collecting, errors like these can turn an otherwise common penny into a highly sought-after piece of history. Now, let's talk about the real reason you're here: the market value of the 1991 no mint mark penny. At first glance, a 1991 penny might seem like just another copper coin. But when you find one with no mint mark, you're looking at something quite special. Although not all 1991 no mint mark pennies will make you a millionaire, some have been sold for significant amounts at auctions or private sales. In fact, some of these pennies have been known to fetch prices in the millions. A well-preserved, error-free 1991 no mint mark penny, graded MS67 or higher, has been auctioned off for over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny worth more than your car, home, or even a college degree. And if you happen to own one of these rare coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Grading plays a huge role in determining a coin's worth. Coins are typically graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades commanding higher prices. A coin in mint condition, with no visible signs of wear or damage, is considered a gem. The more pristine the coin, the higher the price it can fetch. So, how do you know if you have one of these valuable pennies hiding in your collection? First, look for the absence of a mint mark on the obverse, front, side of the coin, just below Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. If there's no D or S for Denver or San Francisco, then it could be a Philadelphia Mint strike, potentially an error coin. Next, examine the coin for any imperfections or signs of wear. The cleaner and more perfect the coin is, the more valuable it could be. If it's still in great shape, and you believe it might be a 1991 no mint mark error penny, then you might want to have it professionally graded. Several factors will affect how much your 1991 penny can be worth, and these include: the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. The fewer coins produced or discovered, the more valuable they become. If coin collectors and investors are actively seeking this error coin, the price will skyrocket. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1991 no mint mark penny? First, have your penny professionally appraised and graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. If it checks out, you can choose to sell it through an auction or privately. Just be sure to get an expert's opinion before making any decisions. This coin could be worth a small fortune, but only if you handle it properly. There you have it, folks. The 1991 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one rare gem that could potentially be worth millions if you're lucky enough to find one in top condition. So, the next time you dig through your spare change, be sure to check carefully. Who knows? You could be holding on to a piece of history. 2006 The Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. It's a coin that may seem pretty ordinary at first glance, But as we'll discover, there might be more to this penny than meets the eye. Stay tuned as we explore its current market value, its potential to fetch millions, and what makes this penny so valuable in today's market. Before we get into the exciting stuff, let's break down the basics. The 2006 D. Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny was minted in 2006 at the Denver Mint, hence the D Mint mark. This penny was part of the ongoing series that featured Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was struck in copper-plated zinc, just like most modern pennies, and has a face value of just 1 cent. On the obverse, we see the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the reverse, the traditional shield design, introduced in 2010. But here's the thing, while this penny is fairly standard, its value may not be. Let's take a look at why the 2006 D. Lincoln penny might just be a hidden treasure. Now, most of the 2006 D pennies were produced in large quantities, over 3 billion of them to be exact. So, at first glance, you might think, why would a 2006 D penny be worth anything beyond 1 cent? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Despite the high mintage numbers, certain factors can make some 2006 D pennies more valuable than others. First off, condition matters. If your 2006 D penny is in pristine, uncirculated condition, it can be worth more than face value. Coins in mint condition, especially those with minimal wear and scratches, tend to be more sought after by collectors. So, can the 2006 D. Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny really be worth millions? Well, while most 2006 D pennies won't fetch that kind of price, there are a few rare exceptions that could. For example, a 2006 D penny with a misprint or an error could fetch a significant sum. These errors could range from a double die, where the image is stamped multiple times, to misstrikes that create unique features on the coin. If your 2006 D penny has any unusual features like a clear double die or a rare minting error, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And while millions of dollars might be a stretch for this coin alone, it's not unheard of for extremely rare error coins to hit such high values. Let's take a real-world example. In 2006, some pennies from other years with minting errors have sold for well over $1 million. So, while it's not guaranteed, the 2006 D penny could be one of those rare, elusive finds. Now, if you're thinking that you have a potential treasure on your hands, where do you even begin to find out if your 2006 D penny is worth more than a cent? First, you'll need to have it evaluated. Check for errors, look for mint marks, and assess its condition. Keep in mind that even pennies with small imperfections could be valuable if they're rare enough. To get an accurate appraisal, consider taking your penny to a certified numismatic expert or a coin dealer who specializes in rare coins. You can also check online auction sites like eBay, where similar coins are sold regularly, to get a sense of the going price for well-preserved, error-free or rare 2006 D pennies. So, what's the final verdict on the 2006 D Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny? While it's not likely to reach the staggering price of some of the world's most famous coins, it could still be worth more than you think. In excellent condition or with rare errors, a 2006 D penny could fetch thousands of dollars at auction. And with the right circumstances, there's always the possibility that you might stumble upon a 1-in-a-million find. Remember, coin collecting is all about patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck. So, next time you're going through your change, take a moment to inspect those pennies. You never know, that simple 2006 D Lincoln penny could be the key to your next big find. 2007 D Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, but trust me, this little coin could be worth a lot more than you think, like, maybe even $1 million. Let's explore how this penny went from your pocket change to a potential treasure. Stick around till the end because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for to determine if you've got a rare one. Before we jump into its market value, let's first take a look at the 2007 D penny itself. This coin was minted in 2007 at the Denver Mint, and it's a part of the series honoring Abraham Lincoln. Now, you might know that the U.S. Mint regularly produces billions of pennies every year, and the 2007D was no exception. But here's the thing, what sets this particular penny apart from others? In 2007, the U.S. Mint was celebrating the 200th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. To commemorate this, they released a new reverse design on the penny, which featured a log cabin, a nod to Lincoln's humble beginnings in Kentucky. It's a beautiful piece of history, and for collectors, it's the start of something special. Of course, the penny's obverse shows the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has graced the penny since 1909. The 2007D penny is part of the annual release, so at first glance, it might seem like just another coin in your pocket change. But there's a hidden value in this coin, and today, we're going to find out why. Now, let's get into the reason why some 2007D pennies are valued so highly. The general 2007D penny in circulation isn't particularly rare. In fact, billions were minted that year. But here's the kicker, not all 2007D pennies are created equal. If you're lucky enough to find one with certain characteristics, it could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of dollars. So, what are these characteristics? The first thing to check is the condition of the coin. Pennies that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are worth far more than those that have been tossed around in your pocket for years. If your penny has barely any wear and retains its original shine and details, it's definitely more valuable. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a rare variety of the 2007D penny known as the doubled die obverse. If you come across one with doubling in the letters of liberty, the date 2007, or even the phrase e pluribus unum, you've got a potential gold mine on your hands. Doubling happens during the minting process when the coin dies misalign. This causes a double strike, which makes parts of the design look blurry or doubled. And in the case of the 2007D, this error is incredibly rare. So, if you find one of these pennies with doubled lettering, you could be holding something worth hundreds of thousands or more. Okay, so now let's talk about the market value of the 2007D penny. As of today, a regular 2007D penny in average condition is worth, well, just 1 cent. But when we're talking about the double die obverse, that's where the big bucks come in. While the value can fluctuate depending on demand and condition, here are some examples of what these era pennies can fetch. That's right, a penny could sell for $1 million. Now, not every 2007D double die will hit that level, but there are definitely some out there that have made headlines with huge sales. So, how do you find one of these rare pennies? Here's the step-by-step breakdown. Look at the word Liberty and the date 2007. If you see any double images or blurring in the lettering, that's your sign. The reverse side should also be free of any major defects, but make sure to look for any unusual doubling or marks in the design. The better the condition, the more your penny will be worth. Keep it safe in a protective holder. Once you've identified a potential error penny, take it to a professional coin grader. A high-quality grade from a reputable service like PCGS or NGC can dramatically increase its value. Now you might be wondering, is it worth all the effort to find this coin? Well, if you're lucky enough to find a 2007D double die obverse, the answer is definitely yes. With the potential for a coin to be worth 6 figures or more, it could absolutely change your life. But remember, it's all about patience and attention to detail. Keep an eye on your pocket change, dig through your old coin jars, and always inspect the pennies in your collection. Who knows, your next 2007D penny could be the one that makes you a fortune. 1987 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin that has caught the attention of collectors and investors alike. But why is it so valuable? Let's find out. The 1987 Lincoln penny, much like the rest of the 1 cent coins that have been produced for over a century, features Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on the obverse. But what sets the 1987 coin apart is something less obvious: the absence of a mint mark. Most U.S. pennies, especially those minted post-1930s, have a mint mark on the reverse, indicating the specific U.S. mint facility where the coin was struck. However, in 1987, a certain batch of pennies was produced without a mint mark. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. But what makes these particular coins interesting is their rarity, and potentially, their market value. So, what's the current market value of the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, that depends on a few factors: condition, rarity, and collector demand. If your 1987 penny is in circulation, it's worth face value, just 1 cent. But in uncirculated condition, or if it holds a unique error, its value can climb. Mint state coins, which are those that haven't been circulated and retain all their original details, can fetch between $2 to $10. But hold on, if you're lucky enough to find a rare error coin, we could be looking at a significantly higher price. Error coins are where the real excitement lies for collectors. In the case of the 1987 no mint mark penny, one of the most sought-after errors involves double dies, where the coin was struck more than once, causing a blurry or doubled image on the obverse or reverse. Coins with these types of errors can be worth hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more, depending on the severity of the error and the demand among collectors. In some cases, these rare pennies have sold for $500 to $1,000 at auction. Would you believe that, in certain cases, a pristine 1987 penny with no mint mark, especially those with unique errors, has been known to sell for $10,000 or more? These rare finds have been uncovered in estate sales, coin shops, and even through direct purchases from collectors willing to pay premium prices. So, what exactly determines the value of a 1987 no mint mark penny? Let's break it down. The better the condition, the higher the value. A well-preserved uncirculated coin is always worth more than a heavily circulated one. While the 1987 penny itself is not extremely rare, error coins are. The fewer of these errors there are in circulation, the more valuable they become. As with any collectible, demand plays a crucial role. If collectors are actively seeking out 1987 pennies with specific errors, the price tends to rise. Now, we get to the million-dollar question. Could a 1987 no mint mark penny ever be worth $1 million? It's unlikely. The market for pennies generally doesn't reach those astronomical numbers, at least not for this year's issues. To put things into perspective, million-dollar pennies are typically reserved for extremely rare coins, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, where scarcity and historical significance truly drive prices to incredible heights. While the 1987 penny may not hit the $1 million mark, it's still a valuable and exciting piece of history. If you happen to find one in mint condition, or, better yet, with a rare error, it could certainly fetch a nice sum. So, keep your eyes peeled, collectors, you might just have a hidden treasure. 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin that has taken collectors by storm. But why? Is this simple penny really worth millions of dollars? Stick around to find out. Let's start with some basic details. The United States Mint produces billions of pennies each year, but not all of them make it into your piggy bank or coin jar. Some, like the 2000 no mint mark penny, are truly special, and their rarity is what makes them so valuable. But why is this penny so important? And how does it differ from other pennies from the same year? First, let's talk about what makes this coin so unique. The 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is exactly what it sounds like, a penny from the year 2000 that doesn't have a mint mark. Normally, coins from U.S. mints are marked with either a D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, or S for San Francisco. But for some reason, a small number of pennies produced in 2000, particularly from the Philadelphia Mint, were struck without any mint mark at all. Here's the catch. In 2000, the U.S. Mint didn't intend to create these coins without the mint mark. It was a mistake, a production error. And it's this error that caught the attention of collectors. But the mystery deepens. The Mint initially didn't acknowledge this issue, and it wasn't until collectors began to realize that something was off that this coin started making headlines. But wait, before you get too excited, let's talk about rarity. You may be wondering, how many of these no mint mark pennies actually exist? The answer is tricky. While no exact figure has been confirmed, experts believe that only a small number were struck, making these coins incredibly rare. Some estimates suggest that fewer than 10,000 of these no-mint mark pennies were ever produced. And when something is rare, its value goes up. Now we get to the fun part, the market value. You might be asking, how much is this little penny really worth? Well, the price can vary. Some of these coins in lower grades might only fetch a few $100s. But if you happen to find one in mint condition, well, that's where things get interesting. In uncirculated condition, the value of a 2000 no-mint mark penny can reach upwards of $1,000 or more. But it doesn't stop there. In 2020, one of these rare pennies, graded by professional coin grading companies like PCGS, sold at auction for around $2,000. That's an incredible return on just a single penny. And in some cases, there are reports of even higher prices. Some collectors are willing to pay thousands for a coin in perfect condition, with a grade of MS67 or higher, which is the highest quality rating a coin can get. But the million-dollar question remains, could this penny ever be worth $1 million? Well, while that would be an extreme case, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. If a coin in mint condition, with perfect centering and absolutely no flaws, were to surface, it could theoretically fetch $1 million price tag at auction. However, that would likely be an extremely rare scenario. So, to summarize, the 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny is a rare and valuable coin with some serious collector interest. While most of them are worth a few hundred to a couple $1,000s, it's the extreme rarity and the potential for finding one in exceptional condition that make this penny so exciting. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these in your collection or in your change jar, take a moment to carefully inspect it. If you find a 2000 no-mint mark penny, you might just have a hidden gem on your hands, and it could be worth a lot more than you think.